Thank you for your interest in the SISU project. SISU stands for Social Ecologies of Resilience among at-risk children, starting school in South Africa and Finland, a visual participatory study. That's quite a mouthful, isn't it? Let me take you through it bit by bit so that we can understand this more clearly. The main aim of SISU is to explain why and how some at-risk South African and Finnish children make positive transitions to formal school. In other words, what we really want to understand is why some children cope well with the multiple challenges of going to grade 1, progressing in grade 1, even when they face additional risks. You see, what we know from previous studies is that when children face multiple risks, they are more likely to have negative developmental outcomes. Typically, children who go to grade 1 and who have to face the challenges of progressing in grade 1 and who know other risks at the same time, like their parents having divorced or living in an economically disadvantaged community, struggle to cope with the demands of formal schooling, develop behavioral problems, emotional problems, or even quit school. What we also know, and this gives us great hope, is that some children do better than we expect them to. For example, some children who go to grade 1 for the first time and who have the challenge of adapting to a formal school system, along with challenges of their parents getting divorced or living in an economically disadvantaged community, cope really well with all of these risks. We call these children resilient. What we know from previous studies is that resilience, or doing better than expected when life is tough, is a process that is supported by families, by schools, by communities, and by other social ecological resources and systems. In other words, resilience is a systemically supported process. What we don't understand well enough yet is how social ecologies, how families and schools and communities support at-risk children to make positive transitions to grade 1. If we could understand this, then there would be a pretty good chance that we could help children who are at risk to transition positively to grade 1 and to do well in life. So how are we going to try and understand the resilience processes of children who transition well to grade 1, despite facing additional risks, like their parents having divorced or living in an economically disadvantaged community? Well, from now until 2016, a team of researchers from Northwest University, South Africa, led by me, and a team of researchers from the University of Helsinki in Finland, led by Professor Kristiina Kumpalainen, are going to be talking to resilient children and their parents and their teachers to learn more about what supports them to make positive transitions to grade 1, despite additional risks like divorced parents or economically disadvantaged communities. Because we are very interested in the social ecologies that support the resilience processes of children, these teams will be very interested in learning specifically about the social ecological supports that make a difference in the lives of these children. You may remember that I said SISU is a visual participatory study. That means that researchers will also be filming a day in the life of each resilient child. They will join the child for a day and film the child at school, at home, and in the community to understand more deeply how social ecologies support resilience processes. What's very important is that the child goes about his or her day, as always, as naturally as possible, and that the researchers then are just quietly in the background capturing the day on film. At a later stage, the researchers come back and they ask the resilient child, the child's parents and teachers to help them understand what the footage, the content of the film or the DVD is explaining about how social ecologies support the resilience of at-risk children. We are enormously excited about what we'll learn from these resilient children and their parents and their teachers about the resilience processes that make a difference when at-risk children transition to formal school. We are also profoundly hopeful that this knowledge will be used in real ways to make a difference in the lives of at-risk children in Finland and in South Africa, so that at-risk children do transition well to grade 1 and do well in life, regardless of risks like their parents getting divorced or living in economically disadvantaged communities. We also undertake to keep you informed about what the SISU project delivers. So, until then, goodbye.